Good afternoon, everyone. Gabe Velazquez here with you, transparenttrading-solutions.com on the 15th of December on a Friday. Let's get right into it. Again, subscribe to the newsletter. I'll be writing that this Sunday. And we got a bunch of stuff coming up, obviously with the holiday coming up. We're going to slow down some things, but in any event, all right, so let's get into the markets. Obviously, dovish Fed. New highs on the Dow, for new highs on the NASDAQ. Not a big surprise with the bullish momentum. You know, when you get this kind of momentum, obviously anything goes. A couple of tidbits, though. Sentiment did turn very extremely bullish, i.e. the AAII numbers are right where they were back in July. Again, that in and of itself is not a sell signal, but it does bring for some caution. You know, obviously you can't short against new highs. You have to wait for selling to come in and possibly buy pullbacks. However, there are a lot of stocks that, you know, Mag 7s are kind of underperforming right now. They may be rotating. In fact, we're putting on some shorts in NVIDIA as we speak, anticipating we get some kind of a pullback. It's a low risk trade. Gold also looked like it was jumping. So let's get right into the charts and go from there. You know, first chart is the only index really more or less that is left with some kind of resistance. That's the Russell. Don't need to really talk about any of the other indexes as they're all-time highs. We're sitting close to, you know, right at resistance on the Russell 2035. Unless this has been a huge mover, and it is pulling back today. So there is some rotation happening across a lot of these markets. The S&P, you know, nothing really to say there. It's for all intent and purposes all-time highs. I mean, even though technically still have some highs on the SPY and so forth, but you know, that those are, yeah, typically what happens is the market goes out, makes a new high, and then pulls back. You go back historically, we did that with our members today. That could be the case coming up here. Obviously, the NASDAQ's at all-time highs. Bonds, interestingly, you know, the TLT is now right up against 100. Which is going to be interesting to see. That also corresponds to this 125. So if you look at the TLT, that is right up against the massive breakdown that we had back in the summer in, you know, that culminating low here. So it's interesting to see if we can surpass 100 on the TLT. These are all getting all these markets are really getting extended in any direction. Interest rates are getting extended to the upside. Price of bonds, you know, price of stocks are getting extended. Doesn't mean, you know, we have to pull back, but I would be very careful in not chasing anything. Even in the short term, if you take a look at today, it's been kind of just a meandering kind of consolidation type of move here in the near term. You can see that just kind of zooming into the smaller time frame. You can see we basically had that zoom up higher with the Fed. Pretty much no pullbacks. Again, we went 3 weeks sideways. We gapped up. We had a zoom up from the Fed, and now we're back to the same old stuff. So it's been very challenged unless you actually caught a breakout. Pretty much, that's pretty much it. So also the dollar is bouncing hard after a big, you know, sell-off. We have some interesting situations developing in the euro. We got Bank of Japan next week. Still interested in buying the yen on a pullback. Gold also pulling back hard. We actually trying to get short gold somewhere around the 2100 level. It's pulling back here pretty hard as well with the dollar gaining. Silver's kind of hanging in there. We'll see what happens with that. And then, you know, oil also kind of hanging around the 72. We'll see if that actually breaks above, or this is just another corrective phase and we head right back down again. Nat gas filling that gap from last week. So we had a gap last Sunday. We came all the way down to 225, basically for the whole week, came all the way back closely, almost fill the gap. And now we're kind of just meandering about. We'll see Sunday if it actually gaps up and then takes off this 260, and then we should be back up to 230. It's going to be interesting what happens on Sunday if we get another gap lower, or in fact maybe we gap higher, since a lot of this production has been cut. Generally when you have this type of sell-off, they cut back production. A lot of that supply is being absorbed. That's generally what happens with lower prices in commodities, but we'll see on that. And pretty much sums it up. So, just a couple of points here. We've got sentiment at extremes. The VIX still sitting at 12, and again, as I emphasized, not in and of itself a sell signal. We still have to see selling coming in. Under the surface, there is a lot of stuff going on. JPM is hitting a big gap. Nvidia obviously struggling to get above 500. In fact, Microsoft was down yesterday. Apple made a new high and then reversed. That's also up again. So it's interesting to see if the mega caps actually continue to lead, or we're going to get some more rotation out of the mega caps into like housing just keeps making a new high, and so on and so forth. So going to be really fascinating to see what happens next week. We still have a full trading week. We have Nike earnings, we have FedEx, and we also have the core PCE on Friday, and then Bank of Japan on Monday. So it's going to be still an interesting. I think there's still some opportunities leading into that. So we'll see what happens. Okay. All right. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Take care.